Wow, you should
There
see
you
me
are.
as well, right?
Great.
Hello, good to
Hi.
see you.
Good to see you too. So I've just introduced you a little bit, told them a little bit on who you are,
Yeah,
and just a little tiny bit on what you're actually doing. But to be fair, I think you're the best one to kind of tell us a little bit about what you do. What is your business?
yes, I'm just waving hi to the friends I see in the comments box here. And Ulrika as well, good to see you. So really good to be here first and foremost, like on the Wella Nordic channel. It's kind of feels like being home again, right? And we have Sophie von Rosen as well. Hello. Anyway, so yeah, I can tell you a little bit about my background and what I'm doing today. So I run something called the salonbusiness.com, which is a place where I help salon owners grow their business through like business and marketing strategies, and really focusing in on the stuff that is working today and also kind of in the decade ahead. So, this started kind of as a side like hobby project or passion project, you can call it, because I kind of really like this industry, and I like business in general, marketing. My life has been about marketing, you can say. So, I just had to get that off my chest, and I started to write about it, and then kind of like, one thing led to the other, and then it kind of just exploded now. So what was meant to kind of be a little side project is like full time now, right? So I'm doing this full time. Yeah, I love it because it's a global business as well. So I have the opportunity to connect with people all around the world, with salon owners, and listen to their stories and to kind of help them on their journey. So feels very meaningful, and it's great. But as you said, I have a background with Wella as well. So I was actually with Wella for quite a long time. I was with Wella for 8 years, which maybe in like Wella terms is not that long, because we have a lot of people in Wella. I still say we, right? I still feels like I'm part of Wella. So, but people celebrating 25 years, 30 years, and so on. It's that kind of company, right, where people stay for a long time. So did I, and I had the privilege to work in the Nordic team. Working with like marketing and commercial role, brand management. Worked in Geneva in our headquarters as well. On like marketing strategy and brand building. So that kind of kept me going for all these 8 years. And this was really like an awesome time of my life. I learned so much. I learned so much about this industry and business and marketing and all these topics that I'm really passionate about, right? So obviously with the salon business, it's not like by chance that's what I'm doing, because, Wella puts a big focus on like the business partnerships, and I learned that being with Wella, which kind of was the springboard and inspiration to kind of to do more and to start the salon business and what I'm doing today. So I'm forever grateful for everything that I bring with me from Wella and using today. So.
And I have to say, I'm really happy that you can join us today as well. I still feel you're part of us, if that helps. And I can see some comments popping in that the red stripes will never go out of you.
Yeah, no, they will not.
Coming in here. So I still feel you're a little bit part of us, even though you practically maybe are not. But still, it's great to have you here.
Extended family, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that, extended family. But let's say it has been a really challenging year for many. Because of the pandemic, of course, but how has that been for you and your business and you in general?
So like for me personally, like it's been a slow year, right? It's on the personal side, right? It's been a slow year. It's like for everyone, it's difficult when you cannot plan, you cannot meet people. It's not great. I still feel like personally, I'm very fortunate to if I look to my close family, no one has been everybody's at health and no major disruptions on due to COVID, I would say. So, I feel I'm in a fortunate situation. Like the work I do and the business I do today is purely online. So, it's also meetings and that kind of thing anyway. So personally it's been fine, but I connect with so many people on a daily basis all around the globe, again, like in different countries where circumstances are very different, and I hear all these stories, right? So it's been a really heavy year for many people, and in particular our industry, which is very exposed to the impact of the virus. So
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been tough, even if, you know, personally I think it's been, you know, fine for me, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I think our business has gotten hurt by it in different ways in different countries, and as we now are Wella Nordic, I know it's different from country to country, but also just a link to that, we have like different setups. So in Norway now we are closed down pretty much, quite hardcore. The hairdressers are still open, the salons are still there, but very low frequency in customers. Everything else is basically closed in Norway. I know in Sweden they are still open, but they also face low frequency in clients. And it's the same in Finland as well, especially those on bigger malls and stuff like that. In Denmark, they are like totally closed and are gonna be, I guess, until after Easter, if I'm not totally wrong. So yeah, there is definitely different scenarios when it comes to the business in the different countries. But you have a lot of clients, right? So can you share what has been the most hard thing for them this year, like your clients? What has been their struggles?
Yeah, so you know, at the salon business, I have this like membership program where we meet in live connects and, you know, have quite frequent conversations. So I think obviously this has influenced everything we've, you know, done over the year. And you know, I think like what has really been very evident is like generally like a frustration. And it's, you know, because I know there's people from many different countries here, and the way different countries have managed this has been different, right? But you know, especially in countries where it's been like, okay, we open up and then we close down again, and now you can cut hair outside, and now you cannot, and you know, and it's like all these changes, and kind of as a business owner and leader, you need to kind of manage that, right, and plan your resources and deal with that. So I think, you know, that has created a lot of like frustration. So that has been, you know, a big part, but also like, because especially the people I work with tend to be like salon owners, or potentially even like independent stylists who are to become a salon owner, who are just in the process of opening a salon, and many of them just opened before the pandemic hit, and some are in the process of doing it. So like, you know, managing through that, because things like when starting a business, there's a lot of uncertainty that comes with that. Like that's like part of it. But I think many of them got, you know, an unfair amount of uncertainty, trying to like, you know, manage through this, and, you know, staying motivated, and like, you know, keeping those dreams alive about what they were about to do when they're not allowed to do it. So, you know, keeping that motivation going, I think has been, you know, been like vital to focus on, and to kind of understand, you know, what are the areas that I cannot impact, what are the areas I can impact, and like focus on those and do the things that actually, you know, will help for the future, or that can help right now, and to not kind of get too hung up on all the stuff going on around, just to kind of like manage, I think, right now. So I think that has been like probably two important themes. But like despite all that, I'm really impressed with how many of the people I work with like are able to adapt. You know, there's a bit of frustration, and we need to have that frustration and be angry and whatnot, right? And then kind of like, you know, trying to figure out, okay, what's my place in this, and what can I do, and try to use that time productively. You know, when there's a shutdown, there's a lot of things you can do, right? You can invest in yourself, you can invest in your knowledge, you know, because that's something that in the end no virus can take away, right? They can take away your ability to have your salon open, but they cannot take away your knowledge. So like, you know, continuing to invest in yourself, and to kind of prepare your business for also a better time. You know, honestly, that's been really impressive to see kind of like that mindset kind of coming through all this, and like shining through, despite kind of the very, very difficult time. So I would say that's probably it. And, you know, all this is getting a lot better now. I'm getting, you know, emails from my members and from the readers on the blog and so on, with like positive news, like, okay, we're able to do this now, and you know things are starting to pick. So I'm starting to like generally see you know, more positivity right now, even if it's still a difficult situation, right? So so yeah, that would be probably my observations.
Yeah, and I think I love the fact that you just said that knowledge, they can't really take that like feeling, or they can't really take that from you as a person, as a hair salon, like seeking knowledge and getting that what you need during lockdowns, or if you like all the things you can do. I think that's that's a really good point. And also to keep that positivity going, that you make sure that you use the time that you have available to actually then get yourself some extra knowledge and just build on what you can build on. But when we're talking about that now, so you to have a digital presence, because we have seen now during this lockdown, as you also said, with seminars and stuff, things are now happening digitally, and like the digital world kind of, I don't know if this is true for all the Nordic countries though, but at least in Norway we have always, like, we have been digital, but we haven't maybe been that good in, you know, delivering digital seminars and stuff like that. But now everything is happening digitally. It's on Instagram, we are on our own platforms, on the web, wherever. It's on demand. You can kind of choose whenever you like. And we have seen that it is really important to have a strong digital presence. So you are a true marketing pro. So what is your tips for the salons, like the bigger and the small? What can they do to kind of reach out to new customers and reach more, create engagement?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think there's kind of a, you know, because you're talking about big and small, and, you know, because everybody is at kind of a different place, right? And I think like when you're small, or when you're like an independent stylist, or, you know, working for yourself, you can do a lot with your relationships and, like, you know, to kind of get clients in and to kind of work that way, if we talk about marketing. But typically, as soon as you start to grow and you become bigger and you kind of like starting to employ people, or have you know, stylists renting a chair with you, and kind of you need to start bringing in clients, that model is very difficult to scale. And that's typically where people come in contact with me, like, okay, I need to actually be able to bring in clients, and it cannot just be about my relationships, right, to make that happen. So, you know, and like, I think, you know, I mean, I can talk about this for ages. I'm just trying to think, like, what should I prioritize here? But yeah, I would say there's a couple of things that I see that many like salon owners would be like doing, and where I think they should be doing differently. So let's focus on that, so we can get some like value out of the session here. And I think one thing is, like, what is important to be aware of is, like, online there's a lot of people who are looking for what you are offering as a salon owner. Like 86% of people today are, like, you know, researching and searching online before they decide to do business locally. And if you look at like searches online, like local searches, like the near me searches, for, like, you know, like a hair salon near me or manicure near me, like these kind of like searches, they were up 900% last year. So, like, a lot, you know, there's a lot of people right now who's looking for exactly what you are offering in the salon. You need to take advantage of this. So this is like one of the main things that I'm pushing, you know, within my marketing program, because there's so much things we can do, like when it comes to marketing, social media and so on. We can talk about all that, which is good for, you know, a lot of different reasons. But when it comes to about getting clients through the door, like, make sure that you are visible when people are looking for what you offer, because people are already doing that, right? So we don't like forget about that, and then we start to like try to find people who potentially can become our clients, because there's a lot of work doing that. Yeah. Whereas there's already people looking for what you offer. So make sure that you just show up when they do, because that type of marketing requires much less from you. It's like there's a few things that you need to do. It's not difficult to be kind of making sure that you're visible when they're already looking for what you offer. Compared to many other marketing strategies. So I would just make sure, like, you know, that's one point for people on the call to take with them, is like, make sure to you know, have that in place before we invest too much time, money and efforts on other things, because there's already a demand there that we need to tap into. So yeah, that would be one. And then the other is like your brand. I think it's really important for a salon today to be clear on kind of how you as a salon are different from other salons in your area. Because the problem is, like, when we become like too generic there, and we just talk about, you know, that we offer, you know, haircuts and we offer hair colors, for example. Like, there's a lot of salons who do that, right? Yeah. And the problem, like, when you're not able to articulate like how you are really different, you know, your potential new clients will compare you to other salons, and kind of the only thing you leave them with is like your price. That's the only like thing, right? Yeah. That they would know otherwise, and that's not good, right? So because we want to drive up pricing, and that, you know, your branding and your positioning, and like being able to articulate like the unique value that you provide and how you are different is what will really help you there. So, you know, those are like two areas and that I think are important for a salon owner to focus on when it comes to like marketing your salon, and to get clients through the door, I would say.
Yeah. And I would say definitely an easier approach than just basically hunting down new clients. And as you said, they are already there searching for hairdressers that fit the ones like the what they want. So as you said, they need to kind of tap into that. And I have to be honest, I always Google everything. So if I want to do my nails, if I need to, or if I want to change the gym I'm working out or whatever, I'm always Googling it. And I'm always checking like reviews and references, and also something that kind of speaks directly to me. And I think maybe that's what you're also talking about now, how to kind of use that to your advantage. What is special with your
absolutely.
salon?
And I mean, there's kind of a trend now as well, where, you know, consumers are being more and more educated, and, you know, we're following trends and what's happening in other countries. So, you know, a lot of people are looking for very specific services and looking for very, like, you know, specific things.
Yeah.
And, you know, it doesn't take much for you as a salon, if you offer that, to make sure that you show up when they do, because that's a great way to kind of get a new client in, because maybe where they were going at the moment didn't offer that specific thing, but you do. So like this opens up opportunities to get new clients in, for sure. And I think, you know, just to kind of build on that as well, since like this is a topic that I'm really passionate about. You know, I'm doing a lot of trainings on this right now, and like, you know, seeing the results coming out of this is just like, I just want to share more of this with the world. But like one of the big differences is also like, you know, if you compare it to social media, that's a little bit more like, you know, I call it kind of like treadmill marketing, because you need to, like, you know, if you post something, it lives for 24 hours, 48 hours, and then few people see it, kind of thing. Like, but when you work with people and, you know, getting discovered by people and making sure that you are visible when people do, you know, that's the kind of work that you do like once, or like whatever you do, it kind of lives on for a very long time, you know, after that. So it kind of like reduces a bit of the stress in the system. And that I can see often, like when talking with stylists as well, like common questions is like, okay, what should I be posting? And, you know, how should I, you know, like this stress about being kind of like constantly posting. So, you know, if you can, you know, work like with this, you know, this approach where people, you know, again, are already looking for what you do and just showing up there, that will certainly help you a lot on that side as well.
Absolutely. And also, linking to social media, that is super important, and how to post and what to post, but also it kind of, I think, at least for me as a hairdresser myself, I think one of the most important things for me is to also constantly do research myself, like know what's out there, what's trendy, what's hot right now, and then make sure that I know what it is, and if I can utilize that to my advantage and to my customers or models or whatever I would work with. But that also kind of links to my next question, because my next question was a little bit to how they can increase, like our customers, how can they increase their income? Like how can they earn more money, basically? Monitos, you know?
Yeah, I know.
That's in the end what we want, right?
Yeah, money is good. And, you know, if we have more income, that creates, you know, in the end, more freedom for us. So, you know, it's not about greed, right? But if you have more money, that creates freedom for you to kind of invest back in your business and to build that empire if you want, or free up your time if you have like other values in life, family and whatnot, right, that are important to you. And, you know, your income and money enables that. So that's absolutely important. And, you know, a couple of things like there, if we talk about money. So, you know, we can come back to that, like what we talked about before. Like if we think about the traditional salon model, because like during COVID now, I think there's been a lot of innovation happening to the business model for salon as well, which is interesting. But if we focus on like more of the traditional model, like you need to have full books, you need to have a steady flow of clients, right? So that kind of is what we talked about earlier, like strategies you can do to make sure that you have a flow of clients, because in the end, that's how you sell more of your services. Yeah. So that's one, and then the other is like adding more income streams to your business. And in the traditional sense, that would be, of course, like retail. Like how do you work with retail? How do you work with things like add-on services that you can add to an existing appointment in order to kind of drive up the value of each appointment? And then there's things like with pricing, your pricing strategy, and like, are you enabling clients to spend more with you? Like, do you have a price tier offer? And I think when we look about, talk about the price menu, I think like the principle is like we shouldn't like be confusing and doing it overly complex, but I think there can be opportunities there to offer more of a like tiered approach where you can offer something more premium to certain clients, like if they're ready to spend. And then of course like lowering your cost, and like times like this when maybe we are not able to be to have our salons open, that opens up time to kind of review like, okay, where are we really spending money every month and so on, because if we drive down costs, we increase our margins. We increase obviously the profitability of our business, right? So I think like those would be things that are like aspects that we can play with to increase the incomes when it comes to the more traditional business model. But I think also like over, especially during this time when we've kind of been challenged on our business model, because the majority of our business is service that is based on having a client in the chair. So there's been more innovation happening there as well, trying to create like new types of revenue streams for salons. And I think there's a lot we can learn from that. So, that's like the next level, I would say, if you want to increase your income as well, is to kind of like look to yourself and your salon business today. Like, what resources do you have? And by resources, I mean things like, your staff, your physical salon, your knowledge, like all the different things that you have, and then think like, okay, can I somehow reuse this in a way and that would generate another income stream other than kind of my traditional services? And to like think about all these things that you have, and you might see that yes, you have different opportunities that you could be doing. To maybe get more concrete, that could be things like, at the very basic stage, it's like offering, starting to sell online with basic things like, your gift cards and things like that has helped many salons now during the COVID period as well to be able to kind of get some of the cash flow. But there's many more ways you can do that. And another area that is actually like growing really rapidly online right now is also like, basically selling your knowledge. Essentially what I do at the salon business, but I talk about business. I don't talk about, nail art or how to braid hair and whatever, right? But there's so many things, like knowledge that you sit on that is like unique that you could be offering as well. So, just, my encouragement more than like, talking about these like specific ones, because that would be very unique to kind of you as a business owner, what would be right for you. It's more about kind of like, just thinking about what you have, today, and could you somehow repurpose that differently? Everything from your physical salon space to like knowledge and all these different things. Like, can I do something differently with that in order to create a new stream of revenue? So like that's just like, a few things in terms of like driving up your income. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely it does. I think myself as well, that's the biggest question. We all want to make more money, and of course now during these challenging times it has been even more a clearer problem or a case that we want to do something with. So but I think that's definitely great tips. I can see there is popping in some questions here, so let's have a little look what is popping in. Okay, so this is interesting, and I guess this goes for you, John. So do you recommend opening a new salon at the moment?
So, there's so many other questions I would like to ask Amanda and Nisa to be able to respond to that. But so here's like, the overall answer, I would say. So if you look to kind of this industry, like, and what's happened like during COVID, like there's some industries that will not be the same after this. Like, think about hotels, travel, and that kind of thing, right? We have changed our behaviors. The demand will be different after this. The demand for salon services will go back, right? There's nothing indicating that, suddenly we don't want to cut our hair anymore or color our hair, right? The demand will continue to be there.
Yeah, definitely.
So from that standpoint, like, should you open? like there's more other things there, right? Around like, you know, like what's your motive behind opening and all that, right? Because you know it takes a lot to open a salon business, right?
Absolutely.
So you know, if your goals are there and you know deep in you that this is what you want to do and this is right. I mean, come on, I started this business like in the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Serving salon, like in the midst of it, right? I had no idea what this was going to do. Yeah. So I think it comes down to that, like your goals, and like, do you know that you want to do this? And then just, yes, this industry will recover. And so, you know, why not? And maybe there are tactical advantages of, you know, acquiring salons at the moment. I wouldn't know, but, you know, in the market. But, you know,
might be.
That could be, you know, further opportunity.
Yeah.
So I hope that you know, answers the question. But in the end, I think really the most important is like coming down to you. Like, do you really want this? Because you're gonna really want this, right? Because there's gonna be tough times that you're gonna go through, and you need to kind of like, you know, be all in on that, and you know, have a dream for what you want to do. And if that lives and that exists, then I wouldn't be too concerned about what's going on right now. Would be my say on that.
And I have to say I agree with you, because this business will never die. I'm pretty sure of that. We always, when we see like disasters or pandemics or whatever happening around us, the one thing we always want to is to look good. Like self-care and treating ourselves. That's always going to survive, I think.
And you know, that trend is only growing, right? So
yeah. And but also linking to opening a salon now, I actually have a close friend that is opening a salon in a couple of months, and I think I totally agree with you, John. If you have the deep down wish to do this, and also if you of course have some clients from before, like a portfolio of clients that you know they will come to you, that's a good start at least, and then just do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but let's see, we have another one. So, this is interesting. So how have you handled mental health personally during the pandemic? What have worked for you? Damn, that's a really important one, I would say.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips on that?
Should I take that one?
Yeah, should.
How have I managed mental health? No, I mean, it's a, you know, serious question. So I'm not laughing at the question. It's more about how I managed it. But because it's you know, it's tough on us. And as I said at the beginning of the call, I think my situation has been, like, personally has not been as difficult as for many others. You know, but still that you know, you're being tested. So I think it's like, you know, things that always help, I think, when things are tough is you know, one is to get some perspective on the situation, because like when you're caught up in the midst of all the stuff, it's hard to see things clear, and you make small things look bigger than they really are, right? So so, you know, whatever shape or form works for you there, you know, some people meditate, some people do other things, but like just to be able to zoom out and understand that, you know, I'm still alive, my family is still in health, you know, all the stuff is there. This is just, you know, this is just like stuff in life, right? So try to, like, you know, that's what I try to do when I'm like, oh, you know, when things are going crazy and I'm about to break down. No, but then it's like, just get a little bit of perspective on the situation. I think that certainly helps. And then you know, like, exercise, stay healthy, nurture your relationships. You know, you have Zoom and you have this. I know it's not as great as like meeting face to face, but you know, for me as well, I've started to pick up relationships with friends from when I've been living like in the UK in the past, in other countries. Like, we've started to do after works over Zoom. We weren't doing that before, right? Because like we didn't think of doing an after work over Zoom. So like, you know, because these things are important, like your relationships, your health, like exercising, you know, and, you know, getting some perspective on the current situation, using, you know, whatever method like works for you there. I think, you know, I think those would be like, those would be my probably advice on that point.
Yeah, I think it's a great question though, because since everything has been shut down, it's lockdowns here, and then it's a next lockdown, and and I think a lot of us, at least some of us that has only home office. For me, for instance, last Friday I had like a year anniversary of home officing, and I never ever thought that was going to happen when it started up. So kind of find your new routines in life and stuff like that was really important to me, at least. Just do those lunch break runs, or do a little workout or something that I always say like my brain needs air, like fresh air. So that definitely helps. But it's always cool to hear from you as well, since you are a guy, and men's mental health is like something we're really important topic at the moment, and have been for a couple of years. So yeah. And
no, and I think that's a good point as well, with like having your routines, even if your like everyday life looks different, but like get dressed, like do your hair, like get in order, even if you're gonna like just work from home. I think for me these things helps, like to kind of just get into the routine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So guys, if you have more questions, feel free to pop them into the question tab in the bottom of the screen. And then I saw your mug, so I was like, in the bottle. But in the bottom of the screen, you have the question tab, and you feel free to pop them in, and we will take them up, of course, and answer as best as we can. So, okay, next question for you then, John. Do you see any changes that has been better for the salons during this pandemic or lockdowns?
So I would say the pandemic has been like bad for salons, like full stop first.
Yeah.
So that's one. I think what it has done though is it has maybe shed some light on things that we didn't see before, and that we were just operating on normal habits of like how we do things, how we run our business, and we're kind of like stuck in that way of viewing our business. I think the pandemic, if anything, have like shed some lights on areas that maybe were actually a bit dysfunctional before. It didn't really work so well before, but just because of these circumstances, it becomes very apparent, and we need to do something about it. So that could be things like we talked about the business model before, like having more income streams, maybe other than just your service. I think that is something that many salon owners have been like pondering about and thinking about, and like how to do things differently. Naturally, when we come back, if we were able now during this time, or to create that level of additional income stream, we will come back very strong when we also have our like service revenue back as where it should be. I think, but I think the other point would be also like on communication channels, because like through the pandemic, I think it's been very apparent that it's important to be able to communicate with our customers, right? So like, let's say we don't have a website, we don't have an email list, and we don't have like social media. We can just put a like note on our door, right? Probably not that effective when things are changing back and forth.
No.
and people like choose salons to go to where they can actually read about how they are dealing with the situation. Is this a safe location to go to, and so on? Like that information needs to be available somewhere and needs to be put out somewhere. So that was important before as well, right? To be able to communicate with our customers. But I think right now it's like, we just need to kind of get a website up where we can actually put our information. And, so I think, again, that kind of sheds light on that, and probably also on ourselves as kind of business owners and leaders of the salon, like, how we like manage our team, and how we like make sure that, people feel safe in like working with us during a time with high uncertainty and so on, like puts higher demand on us as leaders as well. So if we were able to get away with running our business in a certain way before, we probably had to like rethink that as well, right? So like there's many different areas like that, I think like the pandemic hasn't been good, but it has made those things surface. And I think that brings a lot of learnings that we can take with us like post-pandemic, that will make our business more like resilient and stronger for the future.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Absolutely. So what this is an important question as well. So what do you think that we all can learn from this situation, and going forward, like taking with us the future of our industry? What can we bring with us? from this situation?
Yeah. So I would probably go back on kind of like these points that I shared before. It would be similar, right? You know what we have learned there. This time it was a pandemic. Next time it might be something else. And honestly, like during this year, we've had some like terrible storms and things in the US, and you know we've had other things that have disrupted our business as well, other than COVID. So there could be other things coming, you know. So like not just trying to kind of like as soon as we're able to kind of fully open to just like brush off and forget, but you know be thoughtful and kind of take the time to kind of like think back on what did we really learn here, and can we kind of build our business to be stronger in the future when it comes to things like, you know, how are you generating income, you know, how are we communicating with our clients and customers, and you know, how are we leading and managing our team, and like these things. I think there's like just, you know, lessons to be learned there.
Absolutely. I think we will grow stronger during this pandemic and have loads of cool stuff to bring with us to the future and build the business stronger, I guess.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But this has been fun. So many great tips from you, John.
Yeah, it was great being here as well and chatting with you.
Yeah, thanks. But for all the viewers, so where can they find you if they want to have more information about you? Yeah,
so the best place to go is to thesalonbusiness.com, because that's kind of the like hub and the site, and from there you can learn more about like my membership programs if that's interesting. You know, I have a YouTube channel as well, so I have channels where I put out a lot of like free content basically, that you can consume, you know, and I'm actually starting an Instagram. So there is an Instagram, so we're over Instagram right now. But I made the choice not to start Instagram from start. It's coming up next month, so this is going to be another channel that you can like stay tuned to. And I think a lot of the topics that we talked about on, you know, around like how to, you know, for your salon, how to get discovered by more clients and how to set yourself up, you know, for the future. There's a lot of material that will be coming on that. There's like some courses and stuff that I'm working on now that will be out very soon. So if that's interesting, probably the best thing right now is to like, you know, subscribe to one of my channels, if it's YouTube, if it's Instagram, or like the email list or whatever, right? And you will get that information when these things are out and available. So
that's cool. And I would say the first step would be go follow the Salon Business on Instagram, right?
Yeah, do that. There's nothing there now though.
No, but it will be.
Yeah, there will be in a couple of weeks. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. But that's great. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking with you, and you had some great tips. And I guess, at least from my point of view, we could do this talk for hours and hours.
Yeah.
There's so many things that could help. But I guess you kind of want to keep on to some of your secrets as well. And but still, you have shared so much today. So
yeah, no, I don't hold back much when it comes to secrets.
Well, that's good.
So like, you know, I'm happy to do this again if there's a topic that we want to talk about. So, you know.
Yeah, I would love to invite you again.
Yes,
absolutely.
That would be great. Cool, and you know, good to seeing all the people commenting and so on. That was very nice. Actually, like, out of curiosity, which countries are you guys in? Do you want to like, you know, write your country just so I see kind of who has been listening to this?
Yeah, that would be cool to see. Which maybe some flags can pop up. I can see that we have had some people from Turkey joining, someone from UK. So we have had a lot of different countries joining so far.
Cool.
Some Finns, some Norwegians. So,
nice.
That's really cool. I can see that it's actually popping in a question here now. So let's see what it is. Yes. Okay. This is a great question, actually, John, and I'm going to pass it to you. So for new salons, what is a great tip in order to build audience in social media?
In order to build audience in social media. Yep. So like, you know, couple of things here. Like, I can make this answer really long, so I'm trying to make it short. But like generally, like the most important thing when it comes to social media is to make sure that what you share is valuable, right? So that's why I was saying to you, I don't hold back secrets or whatever. Like, there's so much stuff that cannot be like taught and so on, like in this format, and you know, you know, I don't hold back because it's all about like creating value.
Yeah.
So you know, if you want to grow your Instagram, you know, you cannot get away anymore with whatever, getting more followers and so on without actually being valuable and actually like providing stuff that people want to see, because the algorithms see that and you will never be able to grow your account. So like that, you know, there's a lot of tactics as well, right, when it comes to social media, but that would be the main thing. Like, make sure you deliver value, that you understand who's on the other side of this. Like, if you're working in the salon, you will get a lot of insights from your clients. What are they asking about? How can you help them? Like, either via education. So education is one way that you can deliver value. And like, well, kind of like what we're doing here, like on this call, right?
Yeah.
Inspiration for sure. There's a lot of ways you can like inspire people through like what you do with like hair creations and so on. And then also, what did I say? Inspiration, education, and entertainment would be the third one, right?
Yeah.
And ideally, you can kind of mix that up in terms of like the content that you share, because that's how you kind of create value for your audience. And you know, whichever social media platform you're on, the algorithms see that and they want good content, so you will be promoted and you will kind of grow. So that's like the fundamental advice there. And then, you know, there's different tactics and so on, right, for different platforms. But
absolutely. And I think, at least for me, on my Instagram account, what I realized, and I have to be super honest, it is not that far back before I like realized the fact that if I don't really physically give something back to what I'm posting, it's not enough with pretty pictures anymore. You know what I mean? So it needs to be something that gives value or giving back to the ones that actually watch it. And there must be a reason for them to actually watch your video or watch your posts or like your post and whatever. So yeah, definitely giving back is important. And also, at least for me, a little tip from me is always to find out, so who is the audience? Is it new clients? And if it's new clients, remember that you need to give something back to them. Maybe it's home styling tips or whatever. So but yeah, giving back is a big thing, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of I know we're out of time and stuff, but just to kind of like come back also on the other point earlier, because I often tend to end up in the social media like discussion with salon owners and stylists, but just like what I said earlier, like make sure that you actually show up when they are looking for you. So like when people go on Google and search for like hair salon near me and they're standing next to your salon, do you show up, and where do you show up, and what does that look like, right? Yeah. Because that's generally an easier way, right? To get people who are really about to become a client and who are based in your area. Social media have a tendency to be a bit more like global, and the content you're putting out, you're competing with stylists around the world. Yeah. And it's harder to kind of get people who are actually just about to become a client because they're, you know, close by your salon and so on. So that would just be kind of another perspective on that.
Yeah. So just because you said we were out of time, but I could go on forever because this has been so much fun. But as a little tip to you guys watching, we also have the www.educationwella.com, and that is our platform if you want to have some or join some seminars or need something to just build your knowledge. And of course, you can also go and follow me if you want some hair inspiration. And that is kirstisol.wella on Instagram as well. And once again, I want to say thank you so much, John, for joining us. It has been definitely my pleasure to have you here. And hopefully we can talk again soon.
Yes, thanks for having me. And I hope so too. Yeah.
And then I hope all of you watching has gotten something out of this session. It has definitely been interesting for me. I also learned a lot. So that is great. And just also one more thing I need to say is that we have the Nordic Trend Spotting show tomorrow. So if you haven't booked a ticket yet, run and get a ticket from your BDC or call your seller or go to eduwella.com as well. So you get some tickets, because that's a huge show going live tomorrow. And now I'm not going to talk anymore. But thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
It was great having you here, and see you guys later.
Good seeing you. All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.